What's up, Jay here, and allow me to welcome you to my YouTube channel. So this video, I'm sure for some of you, is a highly anticipated one, and it's one that was actually really difficult for me to get around to for various reasons that I will explain. But just so that you know, I am going to be giving you my take on the LCD-2s by Audeze. So when I first got into high-end audiophile headphones, my first pair was actually the K7XX. Like I'm sure a lot of you do, I started reading on forums, I joined our headphones on Reddit. Every now and then I peek over at HeadFi and Super Best Audio Friends, and obviously watching videos and whatnot on YouTube, which is actually kind of how I got into to YouTube channel to begin with. I think I joined the community at a time when the hype around the LCD-2s was fairly big, and this was maybe like a year and a half ago now. So the LCD-2s have been around for much longer than that, but just as a nice warm sounding headphone with deep bass, these were what was recommended. Every time I read about their sound signature and heard people describing them, I knew that I wanted to try these, that like these were the headphone for me. And at $1,000, they were kind of out of reach. Like, yeah, I could probably pony up $1,000 and buy some headphones and not be hurting for too long, but I don't really want to do that. So this past Thanksgiving, Audeze held their Thanksgiving/Black Friday B-Stock sale, and that is when I bought these, because for $500 compared to their normal MSRP of $1,000, even on like Adorama, when you see them on sale, they'll often be $700, which is still good, but you know, once they dropped to $500, I just had to get them. So I jumped on that deal. And it turns out that everybody else and their mother did as well. So Audeze ended up selling way more than what they had for B-Stock. And to correct this, rather than shipping people B-Stock, I think they actually recalled these from Adorama, or had Adorama ship them back to them. But they started offering the LCD-2 brand new, but with aluminum instead of the wood. But they ended up offering these, and these were brand new Audeze LCD-2s, 2016s. They are the phaser models, and we'll get into all that in a minute. But that's how I came about these. And so I got these shortly before Christmas time, and I've been listening to them ever since. So I've had them for what, like about 5 months now. Okay, so I'm gonna hang these back up real quick. So the presentation, so the Audeze LCD-2s, like Sennheisers, they'll give you a nice cardboard box with foam cutouts that your headphones sit in. I think Hi-Fi Man gives you maybe like wooden boxes or something. Audeze gives you a frickin' Pelican case. If we pop this thing open, so I can hold it up, I've got a nice little pamphlet here about your headphones. And inside, got a cutout for the headphones with another little space down here. I actually have, because I made my own balanced cable for these, which I will also get to in a minute, I have the stock cable. So I guess I'll start with the stock cable that you get, because generally I think cables are important to talk about to an extent, because to replace them can be roughly 10 to 20% of the value of your headphones. So the cables that the LCD-2 comes with, we've got a 9 or 10 foot, probably like a 3 meter, actual like flat ribbon cable. So as you can see, it's just 4 conductors across, terminated in a quite hefty 1/4 inch TRS connector. Nice tension relief thing there. And on the other end, splits out into 2 mini XLR connectors, one with a red button and one with a black, so right and left. And then they have a little 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch adapter here. And the nice thing about this one is that rather than the plug that just has the plug and then the 1/8 inch plug on this end, and having to like plug that in and having it hold up this entire weight, you have this extra cable here that releases that, so that there's no extra strain on this tiny little plug here, which is nice. That's a good It's a good adapter. So on to the build. So the physicality of these things. These are nice, hefty, like these are some heavy headphones. Big metal rings on the outside. So for those who don't know, the Audeze LCD-2s, and I actually think all of Audeze's headphones for that matter, are planar magnetic. And so the difference between that and your traditional dynamic driver is a dynamic driver looks like a little speaker cone and it just moves back and forth, much the way a traditional speaker would. The planar magnetics are a sheet of metal, a really thin sheet of metal suspended between two sets of magnets, and they alternate the current between the magnets, and that causes the sheet of metal to move back and forth. So what this does is it gives a much broader area to have much more precise and consistent control. So you get a much fuller sound from it. The thing that planars tend to be known for is a really deep bass extension and for being more fast. So the movement of the diaphragm is a bit faster than a dynamic driver. So the main focus of the LCD-2s are these giant ear cups. They come with a nice screen grill on the outside, and just inside of that is a filter of some sort, so you can see it's just all the way black. You can't actually see into it. Then you have the ring on the cup. As I said, mine are aluminum, but they also come in bamboo and rosewood. So the cups are held on with these metal, I guess like horseshoe-shaped things that have little swivels inside of them, so they allow for a certain range of motion, and those are attached with these metal rods. And then they have the headband up here, which is essentially just a piece of metal band held in place by these two plastic clamps and a nice leather, slightly padded wrapping around that metal band. So what that means though is that all of this componentry here is easily replaceable. So they actually sell a carbon fiber headband, which is a bit lighter, that you can easily swap out. There's just little screws on the inside here that you can unscrew and take these things apart, and you can replace the headband. Although that's like for the standard headband, it's $100. For that carbon fiber headband, it's $200. So that's kind of a pricey upgrade, but it might be worth it if they are too heavy for you, because these things do get pretty hefty. You can also replace these metal rods, and I think all these pieces. Really, you could replace any piece of these that you want. Also on the outside, worth noting, you can see these angled headphone connectors. They face forward so that they hold the headphone, the cable away from you. They are 4-pin mini XLR connectors, and what they do is they just take each signal wire and they bridge it across two of the pins. But it's actually really nice because they are very sturdy, and they make it very easy to source or to actually make your own cables. The other potentially good thing about that is having the signals split into each cup instead of going into one and being fed over to the other, is that you can make a balanced cable for the headphones. So as you can see, or hopefully see, they have a good range, good amount of mobility, a good amount of twist. You can see the ear pads are very big, and they're angled. They're very plush. So they angle, the thinner part of the angle faces forward. And the pair that I received is all lambskin, so it's actual leather. It's very nice, very supple. It started out a little hard. It actually was like a little chemically smelling when I got it, but now they've worn in just nicely. They feel fantastic. I actually probably need to get some leather conditioner. That's something that you should keep in mind when you have headphones like this with leather on them. You want to condition that leather to keep it in good shape. Finally, as I mentioned before, these are the phasered versions. So I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can kind of see there. See those lines? Those are the phasers. And what the phasers are is they're just kind of, they're little like slats that are put in front of the drivers, and they're just essentially waveguides, because the original LCD-2s had something with the way that they produced the waves or the sound. They had waves that like canceled each other out, so they had dead spots, and it made it sound weird, I guess. But the phasers are supposed to be better. I think a lot of people liked that interference because it gave it that really chill, smoky, warm Audeze sound, the LCD-2 sound that people loved from the pre-phaser era. And now with the phasers, they're just a little bit more accurate, maybe a little bit more sterile. But personally, I love them. Finally, with the weight. So they are very weighty, but the clamp force is also extremely strong. And this was actually something that I struggled with for quite a while. So if I put them on, so you want to get them to where they're held on your head just fine. And you can put them on and they feel absolutely comfortable. One of the issues that I had with them for the longest time when I first got them was that after a couple hours of use, my ear, like my inner ear, would just start to hurt. And if I touched it, it would be like really sensitive. It was very uncomfortable and I really struggled. I loved the way that they sounded, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to keep them. I mean, I can't like sit and listen to them and enjoy them without worrying about my ear hurting. And I always thought it was due to the weight. But then somebody actually mentioned the clamp on them. And you can't really tell, like I couldn't really tell that the clamp was that bad because they are so heavy. The weight just kind of disguised it. But so what I did was, since it's a metal band, I just took it and gently just kind of stretched it out. And I'm not really going to do it now because I don't want to make it any looser. I've pretty much got it to where I want. But all these like kind of tight points just bend out the metal band, and that loosened it up. And now they are extremely comfortable. I can wear these for hours on end. Like I can wear these for 3-4 hours without a problem. My ear no longer hurts. Now the only problem is that with the weight on the top of my head, it kind of gets a little sensitive sometimes, but then you just kind of move it around and it's fine. So the last thing with the build on the LCD-2s that's worth mentioning, worth knowing, is the LCD-2s are infamous for driver failures. A lot of people will say that it's just due to the way that they're constructed, the way that they are. There's just a high failure rate on planar magnetic drivers, and that could be the case, but there is something with the LCD-2s. So as opposed to a normal dynamic driver as having like a cone in the middle of a thing and then just having all this open space on the outside of it, the drivers in here are actually sealed. So no air from the inside can get through to the other side. The open back in this case is just so that the air behind the driver has space to move, as well as the air in front of the driver. So what happens with these is these form a very tight seal on your head. And if you were to bump them, if you were to like put them on your head and then push down, you can actually, like, sometimes I'll just move them a little bit and I can hear the diaphragm of the driver popping a little bit. So I think what happens a lot is because the diaphragm is so thin and these things form such a tight seal, that when they're pushed just a little too hard, there's just a little bit too much pressure for that diaphragm and it pops. And when that happens, the driver is dead. You have to send it back to Audeze. The good thing with that, though, is that when you buy them new, I don't know if the warranty transfers, but when you buy them new, they come with a 3-year warranty. And if you end up having to get the drivers replaced, that renews the 3-year warranty. Yes, you're spending a lot on these headphones, but Audeze takes good care of their customers. So now for the sound, the important part of the review, how these things sound. One thing is, so they are open back headphones, so you do get sound from outside, and these are very open. Like I can put them on, and it's almost like I'm not wearing them. Like everything sounds a tiny bit muffled, but I can clearly hear, like I can still hear the fans on my computer. I can hear the water. I need to top off the loop so I can hear the little dripping of the water. So just very slight sounds. You can hear everything with these on. So it helps to listen in a very quiet environment, whereas something like the K7XX is a little bit more closed. It blocks out a little bit more sound while still being open. The thing that I absolutely love about the LCD-2s is their bass. The bass is just that planar bass. I mean, people talk about it and you don't really know what it is until you hear it. And it just extends so deep and it has just a nice impact. It's not like overly boomy. It's not like you're getting a closed headphone that's just like a bass head headphone that's just beating you over the head with the bass. It's very well done. It's very well controlled. It's not overemphasized, but it's just there. It's just really the perfect amount of bass. I mean, that's one of the main reasons to get the LCD-2s. It's just so nice. So going into the mids, the LCD-2s do have a fairly flat frequency response all the way through. I think they have like a little bit of a bump around the 1 kilohertz range. It does just give a nice presence to the vocals without being overly emphasized. And then they tend to roll off into the highs. But so they're definitely more subdued. They're definitely a little bit smoother, a little bit more rounded out at the top end. But that being said, they do detail so well that you can still hear the highs. Like you can still hear the cymbals and everything there. Everything's still present. It's maybe a little bit more distant, but it's not like overly grating. It's not sibilant. It's just nice. So my main comparison with these headphones, obviously pretty much everything that I have, they just blow out of the water. The only thing that comes relatively close are the 650s, which they're just different. I mean, the 650s are slightly warmer, maybe on par with the warmth. Again, like the 650s over the K7XX with just the amount of extra detail that they have, the LCD-2s just give that much more. I can put these on and just get lost in the music, and oftentimes there will be an odd sound. If it's some sort of like binaural sound where it just comes from one of the headphones or from some direction, I'll literally like have to stop my music and sit and listen and make sure nobody is in my apartment, or the cat's not getting into something that he shouldn't be. But anyway, I think I've been rambling on for a while. They're just so nice. Are they worth $1,000? It's really hard to tell. I haven't had much of an opportunity to listen to many $1,000 plus range headphones. To me, these are $500 headphones through and through. But $1,000, like I think that's what a lot of people are kind of steering away from the LCD-2s now, because there are other good offerings out there, especially with people like Mr. Speakers coming out with with the ethers, and most recently the Monoprice M1060, a $300 headphone that people are saying sounds as good as the LCD-3s, which are like $1,700 headphones. So I don't know. But certainly for $500, I am more than happy with my purchase. I will be holding on to these for a very long time. I'm actually even thinking about selling, because I want like another good pair. I want a really good pair of IEMs. So either like I'm thinking the Campfire Novas or maybe the Lyra 2s. So in order to fund those, I might sell off my other headphones and just hold on to these, especially now that I can wear these for so long. Alright, well that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed the review of the LCD-2s. If there's anything you missed, if there's anything that I missed, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, what have it, let me know in the comments. I try to reply to as many people as I can, especially once a video first comes out. Once they kind of taper off, then you might get a response, you might not. Depends on my mood, depends on your comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me a lot. If you would like to see more of these videos, I will be putting out one roughly every week or so. Feel free to subscribe so that you get those. I am always trying to do what I can to improve and expand the channel, so if you would like to help me out in some way, I have an Amazon affiliate link in the comments, and for those of you who have been using that or who have used that, I really appreciate it. I'm starting to get a little bit of money trickling in. Hopefully that'll improve in the future, because I really want to upgrade my tripod. I really like just tripod so I can get a nice fluid head. I can get nice pans on the stuff, so I can shoot some like pretty smooth B-roll without having this like crappy jerky tripod thing going on. And then also probably a good shotgun mic, so I don't have to set up the Yeti right in front of me, which you can actually see that. That's nice. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.